Nicole, you're muted right now.
Thank you. That's the new slogan for this year. Are you mute? Okay, so welcome everybody. Half a day. I am Nicole and I will be presenting to you for the next 2 hours here. So grab your coffee and let's get started. So today's presentation is based on working smarter, not harder. And this is drawing upon multiple facets of my background, applied positive psychology, business acumen, philosophy, and of course, real estate experience. So blending it all together so that I can help you, give you like the 50,000 foot view again, strategies of how you can work smarter and not harder. Now, what is the significance of this? Well, having had multiple careers, juggling it at the same time, a large family, you know, my business goals, my personal goals, my professional goals, I have actually used these concepts to apply for my life and had success with it. I have shared these, I have taught this concept before. These are from, you know, especially when we look at the applied positive psychology component, time philosophy component. These are time and tried strategies, so it's not anything new. It's been out there. So hopefully after this, you actually go back and you spend some time to drill down a little bit more on this. So let's get started. These are the objectives that we're going to go through today to have you become familiar with the 80-20 principle. Some of you may know about it and just haven't been able to apply it. And some of you, this may be completely new to you. We're also going to help you, or I'm going to help you identify your non-essential work. So if you find yourself asking yourself, oh my gosh, where did the time go? How is it 9 o'clock already? Or if you just rolled out of bed with 5 minutes for this presentation, if you're dragging, if you're looking to have more time and just don't know where you can fit it in, all the things that you want to do, especially from your career perspective, how do you become more productive? How do you not feel less drained? How do you feel energetic and ready to go and get what you need done on a daily basis? So I'm going to show you what you can do through utilizing your strengths and then strategizing, building an action plan that you can actually go out there and implement so that you can achieve the goals that you want for your career. And hopefully, for those of you who are especially, you know, live a chaotic life, that I bring some sense of hope and some sense of calmness that you can go forward. And hopefully this would, you know, especially with COVID times right now, give you a sense of rejuvenation. So as we get started here, let's take a look at this picture. Now, at first, I'm going to be like, Nicole, am I in the right class? Well, of course, I have to draw from my military experience. If we were in class, I would draw from my dancing experience. And so this really is to kind of give you some brain acupuncture. What does that mean? That, you know, looking at things in a new perspective with a different lens, so that if you're starting to feel uncomfortable, that is exactly you going through change to get where you want to be. So if we look at this, there are a couple of things. Some of us may be very familiar with an aircraft carrier. Now, granted, I was Army, but I got to be cool to my Navy folks here. So, you know, as we look at this picture, what do you think of? And relate this to your real estate career. You've been in the career maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, more than that. And as you get more involved in your career, in one industry especially, you kind of start to see it very myopically, just in one view. So when we start looking at other ways to see how we can improve ourselves, drawing from different industries, you actually get a wider perspective where you can accomplish a whole lot more. What do I mean by that? Before I go into this picture. So my background too is heavily focused in healthcare, and safety is a huge thing for us, for our patients, right? But we still don't get it right in healthcare. There's a lot of unintentional errors, harm to patients. Patients die, unfortunately, out of things that we could prevent. But if you look at the aircraft industry, at the military, at the airline industry, they seem to get it right. So we start as a their industry, looking at what these other industries are doing so that we could increase our patient safety goals so we can have zero errors. Because now think about it, if you go into an airplane or you get on one of these fighters jet, 99.9% you're going to have some accuracy. When you go into the hospital, that statistic, I won't share it with you, but that statistic is different, much more alarming. And it doesn't have to be GMH versus GRMC versus the Philippines versus California. I am just talking about general health care. You go in there, there is a higher chance that you're going to have an unsafe event. It may not have caused you harm or significant error, but trust me, there's a lot of unsafe events that happen on a daily basis compared to these other industries. So my point to you is that when you look at just your real estate career, start thinking about it. Where can I draw from different industries, different principles, so that I can get this more holistic perspective and amplify my career even more. So hence my reason of bringing in applied psychology, business, and time philosophy today for you. So as we look at this picture, this I think really encompasses everything that I want to teach you today. I want to show you the benefit of strategizing. The military without a strategy it's like a sitting duck. They are very, very strict on looking at the long-term future, looking at things that's happening around them, and then looking at their core strengths, so that when it's time for execution, they know they're hitting their targets, they're meeting their goals. So for you, the whole idea of looking at your time, strategizing your career so that you do now have the ability to accomplish all your goals. And a lot of us, myself at one point included, even as a high-performing professional, never really sat down to strategize. What does the next year look like? What does the next 5 years look like? And especially in these COVID crises, it is more so important because we're not even sure if we're going to stick around, what our career is, are we going to be making money? What do I need to do next? So it is very, very important that we kind of pare down now and put, pen to paper or use your digital tools so that you can now strategize your career. So our ground rules for today. We are going to be heavily involved in activities. I'm not in the classroom with you, but I've taken this digitally, and I would love for you to be engaged in participation. For those of you who may be on a phone, it may be a little bit more tricky for you to get to different tabs, but I'll give you some time so that you can navigate that. If for some reason you are not able to participate live with us, I'd like for you to pull out a pen and paper, perhaps get your iPad out or a laptop out so that you can start jotting down some notes. Because trust me, at the end of these 2 hours, you would probably have an eye-opening experience, and I'm hoping that I can support you in that journey. Now, the other thing is this typically I hold in an 8-hour session, so I've really pared it down, but I want you to truly acknowledge that at the end of this session, you need to go back and spend another hour, spend another couple hours digging deep in the root of this. I'm going to give you the tools. Now you go out there to really create that strategic plan for yourself. This, if you've been to my previous webinars or if you've heard me speak around town here, the villages, you would understand that I'm so supportive of collaboration. I am not a very competitive person. I'm competitive with myself, but for me, there's enough to go around. There's enough money to be made. There's enough clients. There's enough business. So let's start collaborating more and supporting, because again, you remember the old adage, no man is an island, right? You need various people to help support you, to help build you up, to work together with it. And likewise, you don't have all the strengths that it takes to really be successful in the business. You need to draw on people, whether that's a mentor, a collaborator, a business partner, or just even in your own brokerage. And at the end of this, you're going to find yourself probably in reflective mode. And I know for myself, especially in leadership positions, this is so important for me, regardless of what I do, because I want to make sure that I pause, I take that time, and I look back and see what was I doing well, what was I not doing well, and where my goals and aspirations lie. So now my efforts, your efforts, can now align with that to produce the results that you want. The last two, honesty. We have to be honest with ourselves. A lot of these documents that I would be sharing with you, it has the ability to put your name on there, or you can be anonymous. But when you put your name on there, it's like, now you're committed. Somebody knows about it. Granted, not everybody is going to see it, just myself. So somebody is going to know about the challenges that you have, your aspirations, your dreams. And the beauty about that, especially when it comes to your dreams, when you start sharing that, I know you're going to have the naysayers and people who are going to bring you down. But once you start sharing that, there's a principle, this principle of simultaneity. That means once you start sharing, you will see a shift in your behavior, shift in your actions, a shift in the things that happen to you. And I know I said I'm going to use some applied positive psychology. Again, this is not the all, positive Pollyanna experience, but this is a different way to think about it, because when you focus on the positives, the negatives are going to be very insignificant. And perhaps you've experienced this with the law of attraction, right? If you're thinking about buying a car, or you're thinking about a 3-bedroom house, and all of a sudden all you're seeing is that, a particular brand or a particular model or a particular location, all you start seeing is that, it's not because of the universe or anything per se. I guess that depends on how much you believe in that aspect, but it really falls under that simultaneity principle. As you talk about it, you start acting in that way. So when you emphasize and you discuss your goals and your dreams, now it's like, gosh, it's out there, I gotta go do it. So there's a difference in the behavior. This is why I really enjoy doing this in class, because we can really share in peers or in groups. And then lastly, continuity. At the end of this session, as I told you just now, spend some time, 20 minutes, an hour. You may have to come back to it a couple of times over the next month, but spend some time to really drill down so you can create the action plan that's going to be beneficial. It's going to all apply with that 80-20 principle, where you're going to just spend 20% of your time to yield that 80% of your results. So let's start going here. The first topic we're going to talk about is time and your concerns. So for those of you who've never used menti.com, if you can just open your browser and click or go to the website, www.menti.com, and you are going to enter that code there. And it should look something like this. Let me get that going. So now you're going to answer that question. What are your concerns around time? We all have 24 hours, but how is it some of us have more time than the others? How is it that some of us running ragged, don't even get to comb our hair, we're shaving on the go, brushing our teeth, not being able to do the things that you want? So what are your concerns around time? Make sure you click on enter. I'll give you a few minutes to get there. Not enough. Thank you. Thank you for that. Keep going. It goes by fast. There's a principle for that too. I can't think of it right now, but it's limited. Productivity. Time is money. Yes. Keep going. Time management. Being late. Is that an island thing? Or is that because you don't have enough time or too much of it? Priorities. Yes, I have to prioritize so that I make sure and I get the things that I need done in time. I'm always rushing. There's too little of it. I remember many years ago when I used to go to yoga class, I would be rushing to get to yoga, and I'm like, this is quite the paradox here. I'm supposed to be calm, but I spend the first 20 minutes just getting myself into that mode. And by the time I'm in that mode, the class is done. So let's see, quality, spending quality time. Yes, we will talk about that. Super fast, not just fast, but this thing goes by super fast. Like this morning, I thought I was up early, and then next thing you know, it's 9 o'clock, ready to go. Focused, ooh, I would like to hear more of that. Scheduling, yes, we have to scheduling. Managing with kids, trust me, I know about that. I have 4 of them. It's always mom, 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 honey. Mom, 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 honey. That's the whole pattern that I go through. I'm always in a hurry. Look at these types of wordings that we use, and we're islanders. We live on this beautiful tropical island where everybody asks me, so do you spend most of your time on the beach? And I'm thinking, the beach is 5 minutes away, but I'm always in a hurry. Yes. So sometimes it goes by slow. So let me give you the principle of that. Whether it goes by fast or too slow, it falls under the principle of time dilation. The faster you think you're doing things, the faster your perception of time is. So your brain moves, and it moves at the speed of which you're scanning time or you're scaling time. I know that's a lot to digest. I actually learned that from my 16-year-old. So I'm like, when I start complaining, where's the time going? He's like, Mom, it's due to time dilation. All right, that's awesome. So let's wrap up your thoughts there. We are looking at time for self-care. That is amazing. Very good that you think that you need to make sure that you include time for yourself. Why? Because if you don't show up for others, and if you're showing up for others and you're burning out yourself, there's going to be a point of diminishing returns. You know that very well in your real estate career, that no matter how much you show up and you're there for your folks, at some point you're going to have burnout and you're not going to be of any use to yourself, your family, or your career. So in the next couple exercises, I am going to help you understand maybe how you can get enough rest, how you can juggle your work and your family, how you can squeeze more time so that you can be less in a hurry, less overwhelmed, and maybe find that now you have extra time on your hands. And this is going to take several iterations of practices, and also, to be very honest, because some of us, we would not want to give up some of the things that we think matter to us. So let's go back into this. Thank you for participating there. Which of the following do you identify with? The left or the right? So you're always juggling your time, your to-do list. Is it from your head? Is it a written list? Is it from OneNote? Is it from your phone, your calendar? How full is your calendar? You managed to carve out 2 hours of your time today, but what did that cost you? Time sleeping in, time with your family, time at the beach, time not going into your database, time probably not calling people. But you decided that this had priority because it meant something to you. Or perhaps maybe you heard Nicole was going to be here. Just kidding, just kidding. So, you know, actually why I said that is not because I'm being facetious or anything. I was giving a presentation once and somebody says, Nicole, you really need to lighten up. Throw a joke in there too. So I'm trying that strategy, okay? All right, so now when we look at time, think about this for a second. Let's go back a couple of generations, your great-grandparents or even your great-great-grandparents. Look at what they had or did not have compared to what we have. We have microwavable foods, we have Uber, we have Stroll, we have Grab, we have Amazon, we have delivery, we have fast food galore, we have digital tools, we have voice to text, we have all these things that supposedly give us time back. If we have frozen foods, we only got to put it into the microwave 30 seconds. We don't need to make our food from scratch. We don't actually need to go out to the garden and spend a couple of hours there tending to the garden, picking our crops to come home and make our food. So, but when we look at that generation compared to our generation, we are complaining more that we don't have the time. So what happened? We have so much more tools at our hands, but yet we find ourselves in this situation. They didn't have cell phones. They had to go out and do research. They had to go and drive to places, meet people face to face. Here we can do that all behind a computer, yet we don't have time. So let's pause for a poll here so I can get a little bit more insight into how you operate as far as your time. So on your screen, you're going to see a series of questions. Just do your best to go through them. I will give you about 90 seconds. So let's see what those answers are. Sorry. All right, I got just about 4% of you answering. No rush. Keep it coming. Some of those answers are decreasing in the percentages. We're going to learn a lot more about your colleagues, not that, you know, you'd find a lot of your colleagues in the same boat, hence the reason to be collaborative, understanding what do they do to better support themselves. Okay, we got about 25 more seconds here. The screen is not moving forward to answer all the questions. Deanna, I am actually not sure how to troubleshoot that. Maybe your internet connection or your browser, because I got at least 70% of people getting through with it. Okay, I'll give you an extra 15 seconds. Let's see if we can squeeze out some people answering there. All right, we're getting to the end. Poll is now closed. Let's see what your colleagues are saying. Are you always multitasking? 84% of us are saying yes, we are. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not a good thing. Some people say that once you multitask, you're really not devoting your energy or not becoming a master or mistress of what you're doing. You're becoming a jack of all trades, but master of none. I shared a little bit different view. I thought I was queen of multitasking. I still think I'm queen of multitasking, but maybe there is some truth to that. We can investigate at a different time, but for the purpose of today, I just wanted to see why you're multitasking. It's because you're trying to get more done in the 8 hours or the 24 hours that we have. Are there enough hours in the day for you? 61% of us saying no. Agreed. Let's get this open here. Do you get to do all that you want to accomplish in a day? Most of us, absolutely. And that's probably just talking about it from the professional standpoint with you and your work productivity. But we're not even talking about what you want to do on the personal level. I want to go paddle boarding, I want to go hiking, I want to travel, spend time with the children, grandchildren, those types of things. Do you feel like you miss out? Yes, and especially for you know, when you have all these other things that you want to do, you feel like you're missing out. And at some point, you may find yourself asking, what is my purpose in life? Am I living a life with meaning? And those is the questions that spurs that makes me bring in that philosophy aspect of time management for you. Are you pretty hang loose? Don't worry about time. Of course, yes, it's island time, but we're always, you know, the majority of us, we're kind of halfway. We want to be hang loose. We want to have this free time. But when we have this free time, I bet you for some of you, you feel guilty, like I should be doing something. I should be contacting my clients. I should be attending a class. I should be, you know, looking at where I can get more prospects. So all of that creates this chaos within us because we're so like, oh, you know, I could have been doing something else. Instead, I'm sitting here watching TV, hanging out at the beach. Or once you're finished with that, you come back and you realize, oh, you know, if I didn't go to the fiesta, or if I didn't go to that event, I would have more time in my hands. And a lot of us forget that we need to have these essential moments of unproductivity. Going back to the person that talked about self-care, having those essential unproductive moments, we have to change our mindset. It's really not about unproductivity. We're just diverting our energy somewhere else that would create this whole perspective, that self-care, that method of relaxation, just decompressing. So it's really about how you look at it from this point on. Are you tired most days? Yes. And of course, as a result of that, most of us probably have our coffee, we're cracking open that Monster, the rock star, because that's the only way we can be a rock star to our family or to our friends, to our clients. Or you might be popping 5-hour energy. Where is it? I need my coffee to get started. I need to get, you know, I need to get the show on the road, and that's the only way that I can do it. So from that poll, you see that you're not the only one in this, and maybe that's why we have such a large attendance to this. How can I really cut out more time, and how can I be more productive and have a successful career? So regardless of who you are, and even if you feel like you're hang loose, you still want more time so you can hang loose more times than often. You want more time so that you have the time to do what you are expected to do from your broker, from your family, from your own personal expectations, so that you can meet the demands of productivity. And the thing is, what is so uncanny is that we all have 24 hours in the day. So where do those hours go? We got 6 to 8 hours to sleep. Some of us are probably more of the 4 hours. If you're a new parent, it's a much less than that. But then with the remainder of time, where does it go? Have you sat down and truly itemized what you do on a daily basis? Maybe, I would guess, maybe 5% of you who have done that. So the next exercise we're going to do, we're really going to focus on where our time goes. What do we do? And this, again, another anonymous link that I would provide you. I alone I'm going to see the answer, so I can use that to continue the class with. If you can go ahead and click on that link, you can choose to enter your name or remain anonymous. Remember, if you enter your name, this is kind of laying it out on the table, expressing it, giving you clarity and commitment to it. So think about it that way. Answer honestly, and I'll give you enough time to think. We'll take about 10 minutes, if not 15 minutes for this exercise. So let's go to that. Patricia, I agree that the previous poll, the answers are not always yes or no. But when we fall into that sometimes, all the times, it really doesn't give us a better understanding of where our time goes and how we feel of it. So that's why I wanted to be very black and white as opposed to giving you a scale, because when you do that, some of us are like, yeah, you know, sometimes I'm like this, other times I'm like this, but in the majority of your moment, we got to get that yes or no answer. All right, so you should be on that link there. And let's see. 2 participants raised your hands. Having your issues to click the link. Okay, let's do this. I am going to put the link in the chat here. Hold on a quick second, I'll get that for you. I may, let's see. We're going to do link, shorten link, copy. Yep, you can click on it because it's on the presentation mode, but you should be able to type it in, or I will put it for you right now. Let's see here. Is the link case sensitive? I don't think so. And here, let's see, I'm putting the link for you in the chat. You should be able to just click on it. It's a little bit different one now because I regenerated a new link. Either one, it should get you where you need to be. Look in your chat. You should be able to find that now. So for those of you who were having issues with the link, just look into the chat and let's see if that would work for you. Let's see. You should come up with a worksheet. For those of you who were having trouble before, PJ, Sheila, Jean, Deanne, can you try that link that's now in the chat? And let me, got in, awesome, thank you. Excellent. Trying to be a little bit quick on the draw here for you. Got it. Okay, several of you have got in now, so it should be working for everybody. We've got a couple of responses already. When you're answering the question, why do you want more time? Make sure you put a reason for yourself. This is meant to be reflective. Don't think about what others are telling you about it. Don't think about what my opinion or your colleague's opinion is. Don't think about your broker, your family, nobody. Why do you want more time? Very critical for us to be reflective and honest in our discussion. If you are done taking the survey, some of you are blasting through this. This is amazing. If you're done, keep thinking about it. If you want to start making some notes on the side, start thinking a little bit more. Why do you want more time? What matters to you the most? When you look at your history and you look at where you are right now and where you're heading, our priorities change on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. Okay, I will be quiet so that you can have a couple more minutes to respond. Deanna, hopefully you got in. Okay, Deanna Palma, that is. Hopefully you got in. Jean, hopefully. Excellent. This is really good. We have almost half of your responses. I'll give you another 3 minutes or so. Almost 75% of you there. So let's see if we can get some more responses. 2 more minutes. Okay, if you've completed, it's okay. Just kind of still think about those questions in the meantime. Don't lose the momentum. We just have about another minute. Truly get into a reflective, deeper mode. Get those brain waves where they don't usually go before. Interesting, Deanne. I'm not sure. I thought that regardless of your browser, you can get into it. But that's okay. You'll have the link that you can finish it up at a different time. All right, we're almost there. Okay, so this activity is going to be paused for now. Let me share some of the results. I will not show your names. Okay, so you should be seeing the screen that shows the results. We have about 75% of you that's responded. So a lot of us are in between. We do research how to manage our time, or perhaps we only do this when we really get overwhelmed. We know we need more time. It's just taking another set of time to go research this. And even though you may get something and you're not sure how to implement it, or that doesn't work for you, so we find ourselves back and forth. Okay, I want more time, I need to time manage, I know I need to do this, but how do I go about it? So a lot of you are in that boat. Why do you want more time? Look at these answers, so incredible. To be more productive, to have opportunity, especially to rest, to get more things done, to have time to get more things done. So we're trying to lengthen time so we can do more things. So we have to be careful of that. What are those more things? Are they stressful things? Are they good things? Are they essential things? We'll take a look about that in a second. For family and self-care, yes, family becomes important if that's priority for you, if that's meaningful. It doesn't mean that if somebody puts family first, then that's a bad thing versus money first. We tend to kind of get that mixed up a bit. You look at somebody and you're like, you know, all you want to do is work, work, work. But if that's their priority, then we should pretty much accept that, right? Okay, to accomplish more, to better service my clients. Yes, because if you're in a rush, you have, you get to a showing and you have a client that has a ton of questions. You anticipated spending half hour, you gave yourself 15 minutes, so you know you have 45 minutes, but this client has so many questions and they're just a talker and they're building a relationship with you. And then you become short with your answers, you're getting close to your time that you got to get back to the office or to the meeting. And then all of a sudden, that relationship has gone from blossoming to shriveling up because you don't have the time to better service your clients. I like that answer. Let's see, to do more personally and professionally. Yes, when our balance becomes off, we become very overwhelmed, we're not sure, we start questioning what are we doing, how are we working, questioning our career. look at this one. So I don't feel like I need to constantly choose between family and work. And that's where the guilt comes in. That's what really drags us down. And then we end up not performing optimally or just not being happy. To finish more work that can always wait until tomorrow. Sometimes we don't have those days where I need to get this done, you know, by midnight, I got to get these things done, or you sacrifice your sleep, or you sacrifice doing something that you like, and then result in what? You're not having balance in your life. You're not having time with your kids, or to exercise, or to read, or to just do the quality things that you want. And we agree, human instinct always asks for more time. We can never be satisfied. We have to acknowledge that. That's why I ask you the question, do you feel like you could ever say no to an opportunity, especially when it makes you money? These are first world problems. For those of us who are always getting opportunities, we're like, I gotta say yes, I gotta say yes. And that is because of that human instinct. We always feel like we're gatherers, right? We're like squirrel, just gathering all the opportunity because we never know when we will need the money or the contact or something. So we're always gathering as a result of our human instinct. Okay, let's look at this one. What is the most meaningful way? And the theme here seems to be family achievements, you know, and that may be fun, family, and achievement. And that's kind of what everybody's trying to get the balance, right? Your religion, your family, your own personal time to do the fun things that you like, and of course your work, the productivity on that. And how do you feel about time? Look at this. I am very surprised. We are islanders, whether we're transplants or not. I'm a transplant. I came from Washington. Before that, I was, of course, military. Before that, I grew up in the Caribbean. So, but I did not live the true island life, hang loose. I got time. But regardless, we are at a slower pace compared to other societies, yet 20% of us feel that we're just hang loose, don't worry, be happy kind of thing. Isn't that something? 20% of us. And for us, we are planning our day to the T. You're all planners, and we still need time, even though you're planning. So for those of you who are planners, the subsequent exercises are going to be much easier for you. For those of us who just go with the flow or just at times do it, you know, unless you get the honey to-do list from your family, from your boss, from your broker, whoever it is, then you start kind of prioritizing what your day is going to look like. If you were like me, this is how I was in the past, everything is in my head. I have a good understanding of what my day, my week, my month is going to look like. So yes, I was the planner to the T. And then look at this one. Are we so productive that we only have time for work? I'm glad to see that only 30% of us or so think that we only have time for work. The majority of us are probably juggling, but still with that juggling, finding some imbalance there, because in this one, we are still seeing that 40% of us still struggle to meet our obligations. We're not struggling, but we're multitasking. We're multitasking, stretching the brain, stretching our ability to make mistakes, stretching our focus. Not necessarily a bad thing, as I said, but something to be cautious of. And there are about 11% of us that's struggling. So 11% of your colleagues, about 10 or 12 of you, are truly struggling. Give me the coffee, give me the 5-hour energy so I can get through my day. And those are especially the people that we do need to collaborate, because those are the ones that are going to have to struggle the most with looking at their career in a very positive perspective, feeling hopeful that they can get their goals done, and just be, you know, just have this majority of hope feeling all the time. Do you have the time to do the fun or crazy things that you love? Well, that's good. That 66% of you do. 33%, unless you're being super honest, that you're squeezing it there, or you're rushing to get the things that you want done, or having that guilty feeling that you do have time for it, but you know what? It's going to cost me a sale. It's going to cost me a client. It's going to cost me time. So really, if I were to get into the depths of this, you will see, you'll begin to kind of understand your feelings about time a little bit more in depth. All right, well, thanks for that. Let us move on. Let's go back here. So we're back to, let me get there. Okay, here we go. So you've got some insights on how you feel about time, where your time goes, as well as giving you comfort that there are a lot more people in the same boat with you, right next to you, right in the same broker with you, your client, your colleagues here at GAR. So really, what is the purpose of time management? If you were to do a Google search, you will find, I don't know, like 1 million+ results on time management. If you go on Amazon, you will find about the same number of books, titles that's on this topic of time management. But the whole premise, the whole objective of everybody who discusses time management, you will find, is that they're helping you to get more results, to do more things, to get more things done, to be more efficient, to emphasize your philosophy that time is money, so that really you just get to do the things that you love or make the money that you need to make. But if we were to take a step backwards from, you know, the whole career perspective, if we were to come out of that and just pause for a second and say, time that I'm asking for in time management, does that allow you to live a more meaningful life? Do you really think that time is money? Because if you think time is money, then you probably believe you have a lot of time. You believe that you're going to live to a ripe old age. You're going to be like the turtles out there in the ocean, 150 years. But if we were to be truly honest with ourselves and not to be bringing in a bleak aspect of it, we may not know if we're here tomorrow. So if time was indeed money, you are actually cheating yourself. You're putting a cheaper value on time because it is not infinite. You have a set number of years left. And this is not my philosophy. This is like way back, the Roman philosopher, I believe his name is Seneca. Anyways, I know he was a Roman philosopher, but that he says that if you are thinking time is money, then you're actually valuing it very cheaply, because you think that you have years upon years upon years, when really we don't have a very infinite time. We wouldn't live for forever. So making $100 an hour over the next 20 years of our life, if you think time is money, versus making $100 over the next year or 5 years of your life, that is a significant difference. So now that you know that, that's a cheerful time, but now that you know that, that thought is there to help prod you further into a reflective stance to truly understand what you value in this moment, in this meaningful life, so that you can balance between your career and everything else that you want to do. And in doing so, you get to ask more meaningful questions. We started with, what does time mean to us? Money, family, getting more done, productivity. But now you should find yourself shifting in a different mode. What does time really mean to you? Where does it go? Why does it go to these areas? Is it because it means it brings meaning to you? Or are these really non-essential tasks that adds no value to your life? How does it get wasted? If we think time is money, how do we end up wasting so much time? Even the best of us, even the ones who are the planners and they plan everything to a T, they are still finding themselves wasting time, or time is going by. So where does this all stem? Well, this is an eye-opening experience for some. This stems as a result of the Pareto principle. And really what this is telling us is that we need to understand that less is more. in this Americanized society especially, we are groomed with the culture, do, more productive, more productive. The more you are productive, the more you are eating up your time, the less time you have, that means the more you are accomplishing. Let me say that again. Our society tells us that if we have less time, we are more successful. And you may find yourself thinking about that because you start boasting about it. Oh gosh, you know, it's such a long day. I was doing this, I'm doing this, so that people feel that you're productive. The more you tell them that you do, the more successful you think you look in their eyes, because we are groomed to the more we do, the more successful that we are and the more that we have. But this Italian guy, Vilfredo Pareto, he in the 1800s, he realized in Italy that 20% of the Italian population, 20% of the population was wealthy enough that they owned 80% of the land. Kind of probably similar to Guam, huh? So, but when you look at that, he extended it beyond that economic principle. He looked at the peas growing in the garden and said, 20% of the peas was creating 80% of the abundance of peas that were growing in the garden. So likewise, what this means is that 20% of your efforts are actually yielding you 80% of your results. And I know if there are questions, I'll come to it in a second. Let that sink in. 20% of your efforts are yielding 80% of your results. So everything else you're doing is technically non-essential. So this is where it's so important to break down your daily life so that you can see where these 20% efforts, and I'm going to give you a little snippet into that here soon. 20% of your efforts is yielding 80% of your results. So out of the 100% of things that you're doing a day, only 20% is giving you this big return. Quite remarkable, right? So let's put this in the real estate perspective, that 20% of whatever system that you're using right now will yield you 80% of the results. So whether you shift down to a digital system, an automated system, that is going to give you bigger results. 20% of the market right now, 20% of your clients are giving you 80% of results, 80% of properties. And that could be, you know, of the small group, you're getting more referrals out of them. They're buying larger properties, you're having a higher commission, you have more engagement with that client, that clientele, you get repeat business out of them. So when you look at your markets, and this is why you have to go, once we're done with this class, go back and truly look at your career as a whole to see where that 20% is, because once you get rid of everything else, you have more time. Get rid of all that, that is going to free up you more time, and concentrate on the 20% of things to yield you your 80% results. When you look at it too, maybe for property management, 20% of your properties are going to give you 80% of your return. Some of you will say the others are dead weight, they're a headache. I just have it because it's extra income, but it requires a lot of effort for that income. 20% of your tenants cause you 80% of your problems. And similarly in management, 20% of our employees cause us 80% of our issues. 20% of our challenges within healthcare cause us 80% of safety issues. So you can see how versatile this is. You can take this, we're doing it in a real estate perspective, but you can take this and apply it to different facets of your life. And then if you look at it, 20% of the lenders out there, this is why you've peered down to a few lenders, the ones that you would refer to your clients, they give you 80% of your financing, or at least they're successful for your clients. So quite remarkable to start thinking, right? 20% of your efforts is giving you 80% of your results. Sounds phenomenal, right? Wait, there is more to that. Not all positive, because you also have to acknowledge that with the Pareto principle, we also see that 20% of the work consumes 80% of our time. And this is why we have to look at it both ways. You saw the positive, you know now you need to go back and look at the 20% of what you're doing that really gives you more results. And also look at the 80% of things that are really consuming your time and only yielding 20% of the work, the output, the 20%. So, and I thought this was a great quote here. I believe it was Lincoln that said this. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. What does that mean to you? When you think about that, you're given a task, you have 8 hours, you have your goals, but a lot of us do this busy work. We just go, we start working, we start being productive. So in this particular case, if you had a tree and we're there and we're really just axing away at this thing until it falls over, but it's 80%, we spent all day chopping this tree until it falls down, until we accomplish that task, as opposed to if we spend 20% of our time to sharpen that axe, in what, 5, 10, 15, 20 chops, that tree will be down. It will yield more results, yet and then we have all this time associated. So instead of spending 12 hours chopping down that tree, now we've only spent maybe 4 hours or even 6 hours, okay? So that is right. Dominique says preparation is key for efficient effort. And that is where we link it to strategy. If you don't strategize and you just go out there and you start doing, like this little Tasmania devil, you're going out there and just doing, hoping you'll see results without pausing to say, okay, if I do this, is it going to give me the results that I want? If I do B, is it going to give me that? If I do C? But when you pause and you look at it and you say, but C is taking up all day, and at the end of the day, I don't have much to show for it, or at the end of the quarter, I don't have much to show for it. So then, you know what? C needs to go. I need to pay attention to A and B. And yes, so it is about preparation, about efficiency, but understanding where all that bridges, because most of us, we just go out there and we start working. We just start doing because we think that this is what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, so what do we do? How do we eliminate this 80% of unnecessary tasks so that we can have truly some good outcomes? How can we go from 80% of unnecessary to 20% of focused and essential work so that we can get those 80% of results? Well, here are some things that you can start asking yourself. When you sit down after this class and you look at your day, for those of you who already have your to-do list, take that and start asking yourself these questions. For those of you who are not into the to-do list, force yourself to sit down to make that to-do list, because it's going to give you your time back, okay? The first question you're going to ask, how much time do you spend working? What are the type of results that you're getting? Are they the best results or are they the worst results? So going back to, if you're spending time with a lot of your tenants or your clients and they're not giving you anything in return, where are those clients coming from? Or why is that happening? Are you screening them appropriately? Are you asking the right questions up front? Or are you just saying, oh, client, let me get them, let me go with them. And then they consume all your time, okay? How much time do you spend researching a market or prospective client or deal? And then what is the resulting effort from that? Are you just doing it for your knowledge? Are you doing it in the hopes of gaining more prospects, gaining more listings? What is the outcome of that? So this is how I want you to approach every task on your list. When I do this, what am I getting in return? And rank them. If you're getting a lot in return, that's going to be either a 1 or 10, however you want to rank that. And then you also look at it in terms of what's consuming most of your time. So you have your list 1 to 100, then look at the ones that's eating away your time. And it could be the deals that you're doing, the people that you're working with, or it could be your personal activities. We typically joke, especially when I give this in different cultures, with Netflix. How much Netflix are you looking at every day? And if you're looking at 4 or 5 hours, then why are you complaining about time? Those are, but that may be okay. If Netflix is giving you insights to your business, by all means, that's your research. But you can't be complaining that you don't have time yet, or you're tired because you're up till midnight or 1 a.m. watching Netflix and not having any productivity about that. But now your own productive time is being challenged. So let's continue with this. I want you now to spend 5 minutes and write down some of your tasks or put it on your phone, some of the tasks that you do on a daily basis. Just 5 minutes, think about that. What do you do today? This is what you're going to do on your to-do list for today. If you want to share that with us, that would help me with streamlining a little bit. Tell me some of the things that you do on a daily basis as it relates to especially your career, your family, trying to get that balance. What are some of the things that you do? Don't be shy. Go ahead in the question and answer box. Maybe throw out a couple tasks there. What do you do on a daily basis? Keep them coming, yes. I make sure I follow up with my clients. Boo, yes, you are logged in here. You are answering. You can use that same chat question. If you hover to the top or the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the controls there that says question and answer. You just click on there and just type in there. Rosemary says she follows up with maybe the bank, follows up with clients, the title company, the surveyor. Dominique, tell me, are you actually putting time on your to-do list to say, this is my unwind period so that I'm not approaching my day anxious? I'd like to hear more of that. Dominique is creating her to-do list every night. She swears by this. This is what I'm going to do. So I make sure that I maximize my time. Yes. So now you're, oh, Patricia, that's excellent. She's adding her morning devotions, her coffee, got to get her coffee in, get to work, office at the end of the day, a cocktail on the balcony to catch the sunset. I'm coming over to your house tonight, okay? All right, exercise and dinner. I know that's definitely, the question is, are you doing fast food dinner, microwavable dinner, or are you cooking dinner from scratch? Susan, get that coffee in. Exactly, we have to have that coffee in. Jean is saying that she writes hers down numerically according to importance the night before she sleeps so she won't forget. Now, Jean, when you write some of these down, do you still end up forgetting some of them? It happens to some of us, right? Oh, Patricia says, nope, she wants to let me know she cooks. Well, just as you're answering and typing in those questions, that's exactly where you're going to answer. All right, well, thanks for that. So exactly, when you, what you need to do is, just as Patricia and Jean, they write everything that they do, you gotta even get further into that. When you pause and you open Instagram, or you're looking at TikToks, you're looking at Facebook, you're looking at the news, you're looking at deals, anything that you're doing on a daily basis, you need to write that down. Your yoga, your gardening, your cooking, because sometimes if your cooking now is taking 4 hours of your time, you may need to decide, whether it's applicable or not, you may need to decide, how can I scale this back to 3 hours? You still get the benefit of cooking, but how can I scale this back for 3 hours so now I have an extra hour to sit on the balcony, to work with clients, whatever it is. So the whole purpose is identifying everything so you could prioritize not only your tasks, but prioritize the items that are essential and non-essential to you. Because you are going to find, you're going to be very, very surprised that a lot of us have extra time that we're just throwing away, doing the things that don't bring us true value for our career or our personal lives. I don't want to beat up social media, but that would be a good example of one. I spend a lot of time on social media, but that's where I get my work. That's how I communicate my presentations and things like that. So it really depends on what you're doing. And yes, Patricia, I agree. To spend time to relax. PJ is saying up at 4 a.m., 15 minutes for silence, prayer, reflection. Very good. 30 minutes to an hour of reading, an hour of workout, etc. So one of the things I want you to be cautious of, even when you itemize this, that seems to be a really balanced life as I look at it. But sometimes when we get focused and we are sticking to these schedules, okay, you know, at this time I need to relax, at this time I need to work out. Sometimes if you don't do that, if you don't get that 9 to 10 a.m. time to work out, then you're all scrambled. Oh my gosh, I didn't get this done. So sometimes having these stringent schedules can put you in a different mindset. So the point of this exercise is not to tell you itemize everything so that you can follow a schedule to the T. The point is itemize everything so you can see where your time is going. If you're spending time an hour answering emails, or that's something that can be automated, or something that could be done Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then so those are the things that I want you to be open to, okay? Let's see. And even when you're carving out time to relax, notice how you feel when you don't meet that time requirement. Do you get even more stressed because, oh my gosh, I didn't get time to work out, I didn't get time to cook for the kids, I didn't get time to do that? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling guilty? So don't be tied to a schedule. I want you to look first at your schedule to decide which task you're going to eliminate. And you know, you can see that I clearly love quotes here. The primary reason for failure is that people do not develop new plans to replace the plans that did not work. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to replace the non-essential work, the things that are not bringing you results, the things that you are doing, but it's taking up a lot of your time, 80% of your time, and only yielding 20% of your results. You want to now see what is it that you're doing that gives you maximum output, maximum productivity, maximum results. So you look at what do you do daily, which of the tasks are going to be consumed, which of the tasks that consume the majority of your time, and then which produce maximum benefit, okay? So we will share the recording with you once Peggy and her team is ready, so you have something that you can go back to. So don't be too stressed about writing notes as it pertains to what you need to do next, okay? So this is where some of our essential versus non-essential. We've taken that list, and now we can, you know, your list is probably going to look something like this, and you can now say, okay, if you're searching on the internet, that's bringing you maximum return. If you're watching 4 hours of Netflix, that's not bringing you maximum return. If you're playing 3 hours of video games, that's not bringing you maximum return. But keep in mind, this is dependent on your goals, because that 4 hours of Netflix or that 3 hours of video games may be giving you the returns that you want. So this is just for example purposes. It is really based on your goals, okay? So you identify the non-essential, look at the current task and ask yourself, or the current to-do, what you do on a daily basis, and ask yourself, is this task really worth it? Is this activity worth it? And if you were to remove it, how bad would it affect your income if you were to just get rid of it? Just do it, right? If it's affecting your income, it's not producing you the results that you want, get rid of it. That would be removing the non-essential tasks so you can focus on the 20% that maximizes the benefits. And why do we do this? Because as I started off with the presentation, the importance to strategize. If you live every day just going about the actions, we're just going to have the results that happened as a result of those actions. But if you become a little bit more focused, again, not being tied to your strategy, being agile and flexible is two other key terms, key principles for you to make sure that, you know, once you have your to-do list, your strategy, you're still allowing flexibility so you can stop and smell the roses and enjoy the journey, and not be too focused on your destination. But when we strategize, we are just making sure that things are in alignment so we can hit our target. That's just like the aircraft carrier. They strategize where they're going to, who the target is, the approach, right flank, left flank, who's going to be part of the team, you know, what kind of weapon are they going to use, what are the commands. All those things are important, because when we look at that objective, we know exactly what it took to attain that objective. In your case, if you're trying to hit $100,000 in the month, what would it take to get there? What is the strategy? You can't just get up and go every day, not understanding what it takes to close 10 deals, what it takes to have to increase your portfolio. All these things you need to strategize. And one way you can think about whether you do this good is pause for a second and think back to 2017. Okay, where were you? Especially, we're sticking to the real estate career here, not everything else. What were you doing? For those of you who are new, what led you, if you had less than 4 years in your career, what led you to real estate? Is it by chance you were kind of a plastic bag floating around and you saw somebody and they're like, yes, come and try this opportunity? Or did you have a strategy that, you know what, I want to live a financially free life, I want to have flexibility, I want to help people, I want to get to know this industry better. So, and for those of you who are in the industry for many years, where were you 4 years ago, 3 years ago, compared to where you are now? Are you in the same position? Are you scraping to get by, hitting your goals? Or have you grown? Have you grown exponentially? The whole purpose of getting into real estate was what? And in those 3 years, are you closer to accomplishing that? Or are you 10 steps backwards? And if so, either direction, whether you think you're closer to your goals or you're further away from your goals, what has changed? What caused you to achieve these goals, or what hindered you from achieving your goals and put you back further? And then what hasn't changed? What is one thing that the last 3 years of your life that you, regardless of what happens in the future, you will hold on to? History, our own history, is very important. One example for me is my resilience. I will take that, my military, for those of you who've heard me before, it's that I draw on that experience. If I could make it through the gas chamber, who I knew nothing about being military, I didn't even know that you're expecting me to hold a gun and shoot somebody. That's how naive I was to the military. Yes, that's how naive I was. So, but if I can make it through that, I would not want to go back to basic training, but I would look back and say, yes, I was a strong person. I said that I wasn't going to give up. So similarly, what is it that you will hold on to take you forward? PJ says, I'm not where I want to be, but definitely where I am, definitely not where I used to be. Yes, and there's a forward direction to that. And PJ, you hit on my next point, because why is this important? history, when we know our history, we can create our future. And you know, you look at what you have done in the past so that you honor that strength, you honor your history, and that gives you the hope for going forward for the future. It helps you to create your new reality. So here's where the soft applied psychology is coming in. You should be getting a feel-good, hopeful feeling right now. You look at your history, you look at this, you know, whatever you've done, whether you've had a very soft life, a very active life, look at the key things that got you where you are today. What have you done? What have you truly accomplished, okay, to get you where you are? Because, you know, we look at this, and when I say effortless creation, we all can do this. We all have the ability to do this because, you know, here's the ocean. This is Richardian a couple days ago, and it's so nice and calm. But you know, when we're ready to, when that wave is ready to hit its target, it comes in there with a splash, with a bam, with, you know, this is your reality. This is you achieving your goal. So then when you have a similar presentation 3 years from now, just as PJ is saying, you know what? I can see myself saying that this is what happened. These are the goals that I accomplished. I carved out more time for myself. I removed those non-essential tasks. I knew exactly what my targets are. Yeah, all because what? You eliminated the 80% of stuff that wasn't giving you anything but just using up your time. You concentrated on your 20%. So now you are maximizing your life, making it more meaningful, having a very successful real estate career. So where do we start? Let's wrap this up with the quick exercise of how do you now put this into action? The first thing is starting with your action. The positive psychology side says we're not going to focus on the problem. We're not focusing on, I am tired, I have no time, the kids are driving me crazy, my clients are driving me crazy, my broker has these expectations. We're not looking at the issues that we have. Why? Because when we focus on our aspirations, guess what? We become energized, motivated. If we focus on all the other problems, we become disillusioned. It robs us of our happiness. We feel guilty. We're not sure if we're going up or down. We're not sure if today is Monday, if it's Wednesday. We just have a hard time. We start looking at other people and comparing ourselves. These agents, how is it that they're doing it? Why is it that I cannot do it? Or I want to beat them. I want to be the top person. And that creates this almost like a cancerous competition as opposed to working in a more meaningful manner, okay, in the manner that you want to. So we start with this affirmative topic. What is your aspiration? And let's see. We are going to go to Menti again. And let's see what, yeah, here we go. Again, this is collaboration. I want you to dream or to think wildly here. Don't be shy. There's no names associated with this. Think wildly, okay? What opportunity do you want to create in your real estate career? What opportunity do you want to create in your life? You should have the ability to put in maybe 3 or 4 answers. But despite that, I want you to focus on one. What is the one opportunity that you want to create? Financial freedom, opportunity to succeed. Okay, I want you to get further into that. Not just success. What is success? Is success more time, more money? Just as how we have financial freedom. What is, I want you to be very specific. More time. What is more time? 1 hour a day, 10 hours a day? What is business continuity? I'm going to force you to be very specific. Get down into the roots, into your inner being to draw these answers out. Generational wealth, very good. But what does that look like? Leaving $1,000 for your kids? Leaving $1 million for your kids? International investors, again, what is that opportunity? International coming from Japan, international coming from Singapore, 10%, be specific. Happiness in your work. What does happiness mean to you in your work? Happiness mean that you go in and everybody is saying, hi, good morning, half a day, half a tata manu, how? Sorry, I don't know the Filipino version of it. I don't know, let's see. Ohio, can't remember my others. Bonjour, ça va? Hola, what is it happiness for you? More time, again, what is it that you're looking for with more time? Financially debt-free. Specific growth in my failures. Oh, that's an awesome one. What opportunity do you want to create? But for the person that said that, I want you to shift your mindset. We're not going to look at failures anymore. We're going to look at the opportunities. We know we are going to create opportunities and failure, but we want to be positive, because once we start talking about failure, we feel disillusioned, we feel helpless, we feel like we need support that may not be there. We start putting ourselves in a hole with quicksand. Live comfortably. Again, what does comfort mean to you? Does it mean living in a tin roof house? Does it mean living in a mansion? Does it mean living in a 1-bedroom? Does it mean living on a boat? Does it mean living where? What does living comfortably mean for you? And these are rhetorical questions. So as you see what I'm trying to do, you're still at the 50,000-foot view. I want you to go deeper so that you could strategize. We're not talking about let's just drop this bomb on Iraq. We have a specific target. Let's not, okay, I think I want, that's the person who I'm going after. What are your coordinates? What is financial freedom? What are those international investors? Drill it down some more. So this is your start. When you finish here, you'll have homework now to drill down into that even further. What is more money? Do you want to be a thousandaire? Do you want to be a billionaire? Do you want to be a millionaire? What does consistent clients mean? 10 new clients a month, 5 new clients a month. And why do I ask you this? Because once you identify these opportunities, you know where your efforts are going to be. 5 clients versus 20 clients, that's consistent clients, but they're all going to take a different level of effort. Financial independence. If you're looking to be a billionaire, that's going to be significant effort versus somebody who just wants to have $5,000 in their bank. Meaningful and positive. Again, what is meaning to you? Are you looking at time as money, or are you looking at time as experience? What is meaningful? Because when is meaningful spending time on Netflix or looking at all the TikToks, they make you happy? What is that? Because once you identify those things, we can start planning in that direction. We identify the target. Real estate in heaven. Ooh, I like that one. I'll probably have to use that in as a quotation from you. Let's see, making relationships. But again, what does a relationship look like to you? Having a dialogue once a week, once a day, once a month. So now you take this, and let's see if I can do a quick snip of this here. And you should have this in the presentation, I believe. Oh shoot, let's do this. Give me a quick second. So you identify what your opportunities are, and then you're going to drill down further, just as the questions I'm asking. What does, oh, very good. Look at that. Now you're telling me something. Owning Coco's Island. Thank you. You're owning it now. Yes, when you say it, and you say it to all of us, we know that somebody out there, that is their goal. They're owning it. They're claiming it. So similarly, 5,000 more per month for income. Exactly. So now when you know that you have $5,000 that you're trying to hit, what are the steps that you take to get to that 5,000? If this was my strategy class, I would tell you the difference between strategy, tactics, objectives to get you to that 5,000. I'm going to give you the condensed version. You start with this opportunity. That is your overarching goal. I want $5,000 more dollars. I want 5 clients a month. I want Cocos Island. Now let's reverse engineer this. So we start thinking backwards. What does it take to get me to that 5,000? What does it take to get me to that 5 clients, as well as owning Cocos Island? Now, when you do your to-do list and you look at it and you say, is the 3 hours that I'm spending looking at TikToks getting me to Cocos Island? Is the 3 hours that I'm spending on meditating getting me to Cocos Island? It's a yes or a no. If you value it, yes, it stays. If it's no, it goes. And earlier on, when somebody was asking me, well, there's some in between, this is why I'm saying it has to be yes or no. Because when we start saying this in between, let's just keep that, and soon we still end up with our 100 items in our to-do list. 250K saved in an IRA. I will tell you, I know people that have done that in a very short time, even with their $5,000, $6,000 in there. It can be done, but that you need to have sight of that goal. Very good. Okay, thanks for sharing. So hopefully you've seen what your colleagues are thinking of, pretty similar to some of your own goals. And with Menti, if you're not familiar with that, the bigger the word, it means that more people are actually saying the same thing. And the smaller the word, it's just a few people or you're the only person, or it just be that you've used a different word. So very great opportunities here. Some of you saw the difference going from the 50,000 foot to really specific. So yes, the 10 homes in 10 years, let's see, 5 more clients monthly. That is the type of the opportunity. So let's take this a step further. This is how you truly create the, let me get there, sorry. You truly create that experience. This is where we were. Oops. When you identify what that goal is, so somebody used the 10 homes, now you articulate that in a statement where I want to create my best life possible, where I can sell 10 homes a month, meet 10 clients a month, whatever your goal is, put your goal in there, and I have time to enjoy the outdoors, my family, and 8 hours of sleep. Okay? That is the affirmative topic. So you use what you have just listed and you create this affirmative topic so you can move forward. When an opportunity comes to you, you can say no because you know this is not in alignment. If I take this opportunity, it does not get me to my 10th home. It does not get me my 8 hours of sleep. All it gets me, it's taking away something, and now I have to create more effort. If it is an alignment, you take that opportunity. If it's producing the biggest outcome for you, you take the opportunity. If the activity is not giving you what you want in return, you don't take it. Okay? So for example, if you are, again, if you're looking at creating 10 clients and you're searching Facebook, you're hanging out in different groups, and that's not getting you any leads, then why continue to do it? Go focus on the task or the activities that's giving you the results. If you have 100 lenders in your back pocket and only 5 of them are giving you the results, why even bother to spend any energy in contacting them when you know it, you can always come back to these 5? So that's how you're going to take your affirmative topic and create this aspirational statement. Then we're going to look at our core strengths. So let's just do this quick last assignment here, and let's get into, actually no, I think we have one more assignment from there. I will get you the link. and it's now pasted in the chat. It's a new link. You are experienced with this, so it's not going to consume as much effort. It's going to be less effort on your part right now. So in that form, make sure it's the should be the one that says discovery. Yes. This one is going to really require some insight for you to be thinking a little bit more expansive. Great, we got some responses thus far. Now, no. You got to get maximum use out of it. What were you doing? Just don't tell me about last year or the year before. Tell me about a time where you were operating at your best. I was working for, I was doing. And the person who put after breakfast, I am so with you. Yes, you're operating at your best. Now, when we talk about time, it's not a time frame like last year, last month. Tell me about a story in your life or a time period in your life where you were just, everything was going so great for you. You were thriving, you had limited stress, that you felt like you were on top of the world. What did that look like? Who was there? What did it feel like? Why was everything going smoothly? Who supported you? Okay, so I'm going to take some of these and use them as an example. Just about another minute. What was different about that time? These are more questions and I'm just asking you. And don't think about the sad stories. Think about what was going really well. When you had hair, maybe you weren't bald, maybe your hair wasn't thinning, maybe you were living on, I don't know, a deserted island. Maybe you were a digital nomad. Maybe you were on top of your game. You were the #1 salesperson. You were the realtor of the year. You had opportunities. You were selling 10 homes a month. Your Rolodex had 1,000 contacts in it. All right, this is good. Okay, so for those of you, you still have access to this once we're done. Let's pause here for a second so we can go through some of these. I'll just go through a couple examples. So when we talk about a time of when things were going well, what is the whole purpose of that? Because when we undergo this level of discovery, we can look at what we did really well and appreciate that what was happening. So now you can say, well, yes, because of that strength, we'll tie in everything. So why were you #1 on sales? Why was it that you were able to work multiple transactions? What strengths were you capitalizing? And because life was going so well there, you know fully well now that you were capable of replicating that. Yeah? What was done previously gives you hope that now you can go replicate that in the future. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. When you look at what gave you life, you should be feeling like, let's go do this. Rah, rah, rah. If we were in class, they would have you cheerleading now. So this is when you look at what was, the best of what was, how I felt when I came out of that gas chamber, or how I felt when I had my first child, or how I felt when I accomplished my 100-mile marathon, whatever it is that you've done, you know, when life was going really well for you, what led to that? Well, I got up and I meditated. I made sure I had time for self-care. I had an assistant helping me. I had my team. I had, let's see, what was some of them? I wasn't feeling overwhelmed because I was doing this. So when you look at your answers to these, you now ask yourself further questions. What happened then? What was working that now I could implement in my life currently without reinventing the wheel? Because when you do that, like I said, it gives you the courage to pursue new things, bigger goals, and the courage that, you know, you have these strengths, you can carry forward what works, and then it influences your current behavior, where now that focus, what you did and what you want to do, now you can make that your reality. So the next step would be dream and set goals. So we've uncovered your perception of time, where your time goes. We've explored your opportunity. Now it's time. We've had the opportunity through your affirmative statement. Now it's time to dream big, to set your goals. And of course, you know, those who do not have goals are doomed to live for those who have goals. Very, very true statement. So what are your dreams? When was the last time you've actually explored your dreams? Not just saying, I dream that I'm going to have this big house in Barrigada. I dream that I'm going to own Cocos Island. But when is it that you have sat down and actually visualized that, felt it, tasted, you know, whatever it is with your dream? And why is this important for us? Because when we dream, it goes to the other principle. I told you about the principle of simultaneity. It goes now to the principle, the anticipatory principle, where you are anticipating this. When you are doing something every day to get you to Cocos Island, to get you to that 5,000, to get you to that 10 clients a month, you get up with that anticipation. Yes, what is it today? How am I one step closer to that? It gives you energy. We call that generative momentum. So when we dream, we anticipate the future. And then dreamers actually perceive reality quite different. And, oops, I went ahead of myself here. So dreaming is so essential, and this could be a one-time event. You can do this once a month, once a quarter, whatever it is, especially if you're struggling with time. But when you dream, we're going to add a phrase here for you. Dream with provocative propositions. What does that mean? Like you're truly invoking yourself to go deeper. You're asking provocative questions. And this is not provocative as we know provocative to mean, but this is to provoke your mind, to stretch your creativity, to stretch your imagination, to allow you to set the goals that you want to achieve. Because you only limit yourself when you say, well, I can't achieve 10 months. This isn't, and COVID? No, how am I gonna close 10 deals a month? You're already limiting yourself. So provocative propositions gets us to stretch ourselves a bit and to truly get down into the threads of your dream, because we're going to ask, what are you doing? What's happening? I'm in a boat going back and forth between Cocos Island. I am going to the bank, or I look at my deposits, and every week it's $1,000, or you know, my revenue is this. What are you doing? What is happening? What is your life looking like? I get up. I don't have to look at my to-do list. It's 4 a.m. I start reflecting. I go to the balcony. I watch the sunrise. I have my coffee. I start calling people, whatever it is. You identify that, strategize it, okay? And this could be from your life or your career. What are you doing on a daily basis or on a monthly basis? Who Who are you engaged with? Is it these investors in Asia? Well, so then if you're doing that, then we need to design life around that. And I'll show you that in a second. How do you see your days? How do you see your weeks? And again, what is the one thing you're going to keep from the last several years of your life? Because that has gotten you where you are today. And the whole purpose of this, I told you, strategy is important. We have our goals. We need to identify SMART goals, the ones that are specific, measurable, accountable, realistic, and timely. So when you were telling me about these opportunities, some of them weren't very specific. I want to be successful. I want to have financial freedom. But if you just say that, if you get $100 in your pocket, is that financial freedom? You didn't specify what it is. So this is where goal setting is going to help. We're not going to be tied to them. We're going to allow flexibility, but goals gives us a sense of purpose. It helps us to dream and make sure that we're anticipating the future with energy. And when we do get disillusioned, we come back to this. We pause for a second and you dream a little bit more. You do this whole process over and over until you feel comfortable, until you get your hopes back up, until you get your happiness going again, your mojo that you can now go face the other 3 months ahead of you. So your goals is something to come back to, and it's also giving you direction, making sure that you are doing the necessary tasks to deliver the results that you want. Now you have your affirmative topic, your goals. Now you're going to design what you want to be, what you could be or do. So this is where you're going to give, to re-energize yourself and power up your game, to set your real estate career on fire. Because when we shape our structures, just like the law of attraction, when you start shaping your mindset and your behavior and the decisions that you make, that starts shaping your future. And that is the positive principle. So the positive principle is like when we act positively, we end up having a life that is filled with positivity and we see things a little bit different. One of the things that I want you to keep in mind is when you are designing where, these steps that you need to take to get to your goal, I want you to consider this, especially for the multitaskers. The importance of the singularity of focus. What does that mean? That we all should have, subjective word, the one thing that we can focus on that would lead us to this transformation in our career. And what I mean by that is, I'll use myself as an example. I teach, I am a mother, I am an real estate investor. The list goes on. I'm a triathlete, I do all these things. But if I were to just step back and now ask myself, what is the singular thing that gets me that meaningful life, that maximizes my time? Then my singularity of focus would be sharing my knowledge so that I can transform others' lives, just as I am doing here with you. So I do that in multiple forms. I get to do it in business, I get to do it in healthcare, I get to do it. So I still have all these things as a multi-tasker that in my previous life I would like to do. And that fuels me. I like being like an octopus. But if it comes back to the one thing that you could identify with, what would that be? Would that be creating the best possible experience for your patient, for your clients? Building that relationship so that they know who you are? Would it be creating, a conduit for Guam to develop with these real estate investors from afar? What would that be for you? What would be your singular focus? Let's see here. Just looking at the chat. So it is so important because why? How many arrows can we shoot to our target? We can shoot 10, we have 10 different interests and we're all working it at the same time. And if you were like me, you're probably trying to be organization as well as expert. When I say organization, you're trying to be HR, you're trying to be sales, you're trying to be lender, all these things that you're trying to do at the same time without having a singularity of focus. Because once you do try to let out or to shoot that one arrow, that is going to truly amplify your career. And I've seen that in my own personal career goals and achievements. And I know for a fact that if you implement this and you sit and you take the time to understand what could be your singularity of focus, not saying that you're not going to have everything else. I will be the first one to tell you I like to eat my cake and still have it. So I think that's possible for all of you. But what I'm getting at is that you design your career with the one thing in mind that means the most to you. Financial freedom, spending time with your family. What is that one thing? So again, regardless of the opportunities that come to you, if the person, so for example, the one who was talking about Cocos Island, if now I tell you, hey, you know, there is a small island off of the coast of Chuuk, are you interested in that? It sounds great to her, but it was never in the plan. She would have to decide now, or he, is this the direction that I want to go? Am I going to be flexible and go after that? Or does it take me away from the meaningful life that I'm trying to design around Cocos Island? That's how you're going to look at it, okay? Because when you have that one arrow shooting out, you get that transformation, hitting the bullseye, hitting your targets, hitting your goals, transforming your career the way that you want it. So now that you have all this, your affirmations, your goals, your understanding of how to design your career, now you also know where you want to be in 2021, I think, or 2024. So how do you fill the gap? And that's where we look again at the to-do list and we take off the items that's not going to contribute to us filling the gap. So very intense exercise, isn't it? So the last one, as we were just talking about, is looking at that to-do list so that you're not wasting your time. Concentrate on the efforts that's going to give you the maximum return, the 20% of the customers, the 20% of the websites. Monday, I was telling you about leveraging social media. There's LinkedIn, there's Pinterest, there's Google, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, Snapchat. That's your 80% of efforts that's not yielding you very much, versus if you were to concentrate on 20% of those that's giving you your results, you can focus, hyper focus on that area, singularity of focus again, so that you can get the maximum customers out of that, okay? Because when you realize that, you'll see that, you know, a lot of the things that you do, well, not even a lot, sorry. When you look at your to-do list, you would come to the brutal realization that 20% of the things that you do, I'll use the gaming and Netflix as the example, that's only out of your 10 items or your 100 items, those couple of things that you're doing, the 20% is costing you more damage to your goals than you can ever imagine. So you have to identify with your to-do list, with your daily task, what is damaging your goals, and flip this such that now you have maximum output, maximum results, maximum time for only 20% of your efforts, okay? So in summary, where did I teach you today? You've gotten a world of information. Your brain is probably spinning. Hopefully you're feeling more hopeful, comforted. But we truly started with understanding what is your perception of time and productivity. Because once you come to realization and you acknowledge what that is, then you can start planning better, okay? Time is meaningful, time is money, I don't have time, I'm short of time. That would drive how you live your life. Then we looked at what are you doing that eats your time? The Pareto principle, the 80-20, understanding that 20% of the effort yields you more results than that, 4 times the amount of results. And that looking at your previous history, what you have accomplished in your past, your current strengths to amplify, to keep amplifying that, and then using goals that are built around your strengths. And then look at what gives you life. When you look at when you were living your best life possible, what gave you those feelings? The assistant, the tools, the money, the type of career, the freedom, the place you were living at. And then knowing those things that gave you life, you can now see what you can use using history, using what you already have without reinventing the wheel to develop your new life here or to sustain your career. And then we went into dreaming to set your goals. We saw that even with our dreams, we're not specific, we're not wild enough. So you need to go back in and really start exploring that. Not, I want more money, I want more time, I want to spend time with the grandkids. Who do you want to spend more time with? 10% of your time, you want to be in California, 10% in Washington. So that again, once we start designing our life, we're able to put the methods in place to get what we want. So we're not running around like a chicken without our neck every day. And one of the key things to think about is focusing on your one thing. What is the one thing that you truly want to leave this life with, that you've accomplished, that in your career, what is that one thing that's most meaningful to you? Is it the number of clients you're connecting with? Is it the support personnel, the appraisers, the home inspectors? Is it building more on your portfolio? What is the one thing that you really want to focus on? Is it building money, and how much money? And then based on that, we are going to design, I'm going to leave you to design the life how you want it to be. So you do have the time to do the things that you want by eliminating all the unnecessary stuff and doing the things that gets you to the sunset, that gets you to that cocktail, that gets you to the kids. Whatever it is that you want, design your life around that. And then lastly, we talked about that opportunities that you have currently, you can duplicate your high performing life in the past right now. Some things are going to shift, yes, but there are certain things you're going to keep from those previous experiences. If you had an assistant in the past, then you get an assistant now. If you lived in a certain place and that yielded you more results, you do that now. If you, give me an example here, if you had mentors in place, then you try to get mentors now, because all of that would support your success, looking at what you had and then replicating that. And lastly, just to remember, we live in worlds our questions to create. So those provocative propositions, ask yourself, why is this important? Why am I doing this? Does this add value to me? What is it that I want at the end of the year? What is it that I want out of my career? What is it that is meaningful within my brokerage? What is it that is meaningful to me that you appreciate the most about being in car or being with your colleagues or being with your family? Because it's those questions that's going to help you formulate your reality. All right, everybody, with that, I will leave you. We have 5 minutes. In the meantime, you have one more task to do, and I will get to questions here in a quick second, but let's do this. In the chat again, you're going to have one more link, and this link is actually a survey for you so that we can, so that I can best serve you and future agents, future brokers, helps understand if this was a good class for you, if you found meaning to it, and of course to just give a good idea of to GAR what other classes that you need. So as you get into filling that out, we'd like to have at least 75% of you fill that out. I will take questions via the chat. Go to your questions and answers. And now for those of you who have put your goals and your dreams in there, you have said it, it's out there. It's now for you to go and design your life around that. So with that, I will keep monitoring the questions. Please jump on into that link. I will pass it over to Miss Peggy. Once again, thank you for spending your 2 hours on a Wednesday with me, and hope that you now have some hopes and aspirations, what your future or what your current career would look like. And I wish you the best, and thank you again.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate very much the wonderful class, as I'm sure everybody else did. If others can click on the link, or if you're having problems, please let us know so that way Nicole can resend it if anything. If anyone is having problems with the link, please let us know so we can resend the link one more time. And by the way, just to clarify earlier, I made a mistake. Once you register, we need you to register individually with your full name. And from there on, it will capture your name, and that's how we will be able to trace the attendance. Obviously, when you get a reminder to join the meeting, it's automatic already because it's telling you, hi, Jane Doe, please, and all the details to join, and the link to join. So it is not upon logging in, it's more of upon registration, put in your link, and then obviously when you sign in to attend the class and the future classes that we will be having, make sure that you are not sharing with another as a group. Allow yourselves to be listed on our attendance so we can track it for CE purposes. Okay, thanks very much for understanding about that. And Nicole is teaching again on Monday. We will have a class tomorrow with Chris Felix, and then on Friday with Liz Duenas. And then we will resend as a reminder the flyer for the remainder of July. But I'd like to make an announcement. Our GRYPN community service, spearheaded by Mr. Justin Brown, is doing a beach cleanup this Saturday. The flyer was shared Monday to everybody, but we'll share it again. Hope that you can support Justin and his team to do the beach cleanup, and that would be at 7 a.m. Show time, and it will start at Coffee Slut in meeting place is Coffee Slut in East Agania. Thank you for that. Nicole, did you want any last words?
No, that's it. Again, thank you everybody for investing 20% of your time, that hopefully you'll get 80% of maximum results. All right, everybody, bye.
Thank you so much.
Peggy, did you need me to hang around?